I'm Reverend Chip Jahn, pastor of two small rural congregations in southern Indiana, St. Peter and Trinity United Church of Christ. These are two congregations that have long had a reputation for working in missions, but for the last 25 years have been deeply engaged in working in issues of just peace and just peacemaking. Behind me is St. Peter's. St. Peter's is a congregation that was formed in 1861 by German immigrants. It is a congregation that averages between 80 and 100 congregants in worship on a Sunday morning. And it's been yoked with Trinity United Church of Christ since its beginnings. Um, as I said, they're both congregations that have been involved in missions um, since before I became pastor. But their work with partnership, the Indiana-Kentucky Conference, with a church in Sri Lanka, has led them to an understanding of just peacemaking that has been infused into the mission and ministry of these congregations at a variety of different levels. This is Trinity United Church of Christ, just south of Fulda, about 5 miles from St. Peter's. Trinity was formed in 1850, and it's the mother church. There are about 20 folks that meet here on Sunday morning. When I first became pastor, right out of seminary, for these two congregations, I never imagined that I'd be here 35 years later. But it's the congregation's interest and involvement and dedication to mission work and to just peace efforts that it's made, not only in Sri Lanka, but in other projects that have kept me interested, and them. These congregations probably came to an understanding that just peacemaking needed to be woven into the fabric of the mission and ministry of the churches before they'd actually heard the term. There have been a couple important projects that we've been involved in that have then shaped our congregation for the last 25 years or so. It really began in 1980 when we were a part of a conversation that was going on in our community about how to address domestic violence. Up until that time, most programs were centered in urban settings and involved shelters. And those tools didn't necessarily meet our needs. It would require a woman to be uprooted from her friends or family or neighbors from which she often found support, and meant that her children would have to leave their schools. So as we were discussing how to put together a program that focused on rural needs, we discovered just how terribly damaging violence can be. It left individuals crippled both emotionally and spiritually, oftentimes for the rest of their lives in some way or another. It tore apart families, and it sent troubling ripples into the community in a variety of ways.